Hello, guys. Welcome back to another exciting episode. I'm thrilled to have you with us today. We've got some amazing discussions lined up that you definitely won't want to miss. So grab a seat, kick back, and let's dive right in. But before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. This is Emma, and you're listening to Let's Talk About English podcast.
Hey everyone, I'm super pumped for today's episode. We've got some really cool tips on how to practice your listening skills, and we're going to have a blast doing it. So let's get started.
All right, today we've got something super fun planned for you. We're diving into some awesome tips to help you practice your listening skills. But here's the twist. It's not just about listening, it's about understanding the little details, the slang, and how native speakers actually talk on the daily. So let's get into it.
For real, it's going to be great. And trust me, I know from experience, it's way more than just sitting and listening. You got to get in there, pay attention to the small stuff, and catch those phrases you hear all the time. We're talking about slang, idioms, expressions, things that make real conversations pop.
Totally, Ben. I remember when I first started getting into listening practice, I was like, okay, I can just sit here and listen to some podcast or music, no biggie. But then I started realizing how much I was missing out on when it came to those little phrases that native speakers use all the time.
Right? And those little things are actually huge. They really make the difference between sounding like you know what's up and just kind of, understanding the basics. Like when you get those small details, it shows that you're really listening. It's not just about hearing the words, it's about catching the vibe.
Exactly. And today, we're going to break it all down for you. We'll start by talking about the slang and phrases that come up all the time. Then we'll dive into some common mistakes people make when they try to use them. By the end of this episode, you're going to be a pro at catching those little details.
Sounds like a plan. All right, let's start with some of the most common phrases you'll hear in everyday conversations. First up, let's talk about for real. It's like saying seriously or I'm not joking. So if I say, I'm going to go to the store, you might respond, for real? That means, are you seriously going?
I love that one. And the best part is that you can use it in all kinds of situations. If I tell you something crazy happened, you could say, no way, for real? It's such a casual way to express surprise, and you hear it everywhere.
Yeah, and another one that's super common is low-key. So if someone says, I'm low-key excited for the weekend, it means they're excited, but they're not like shouting it from the rooftops. It's kind of chill,
Right, it's a vibe. And you could use it when you don't want to make a big deal out of something. I'm low-key tired means you're tired, but not in a dramatic way. It's just a relaxed way of saying it.
Exactly. It's all about keeping it cool. Now, let's dive into I'm all set. You might hear this when someone is ready to go or prepared for something. So if I ask, do you need anything? And you say, nah, I'm all set. That means you're good to go.
Yep, that's a classic. It's all about that feeling of being ready and not needing anything else. You can use it for anything, whether you're about to leave the house or you're just finishing a task and saying, I'm all set.
All right, next up, let's talk about spill the tea. This one's a fun one. It's just a casual way of saying, tell me the gossip. Like if someone's got a juicy story, you'd say, come on, spill the tea.
Yes, it's all about the drama. And you can't forget about hang in there. This one's great when someone's going through something tough. If your friend is stressed about an exam or something, you can say, hang in there, you've got this.
For sure. Hang in there is like giving someone a little pep talk, letting them know that things will get better. It's super encouraging.
All right, I think that's enough to get us started with some slang. So now we're going to dive deeper into some examples and common mistakes people make when using these phrases.
All right, so now that we've gone over some of those common phrases, let's talk about some examples and common mistakes people make when trying to use them. Because trust me, it's easy to get a phrase wrong, especially when you're just starting out.
Totally. I can't tell you how many times I've heard people use for real in the wrong way. Like they'll say, I'm going to the store, for real, but they sound kind of unsure, like they're still thinking about it. That's not how it's supposed to work.
Exactly. For real is supposed to show that you're serious or shocked. It's not something you just throw at the end of a sentence. So a better example would be, I'm going to the store, for real? Like you're surprised or trying to confirm it.
Right. You're either expressing surprise or emphasizing that something is true. You could also say, for real, I can't believe she said that. It's all about showing how real or serious something is.
Yeah, exactly. And another one I've heard people mess up is low-key. People sometimes use it to mean a little bit, but it's more than that. It's about being understated, you know? Like, you wouldn't say, I'm low-key tired, to mean I'm just a little tired. It's more like, I'm tired, but I'm not making a big deal out of it.
For sure. So a mistake would be saying, I'm low-key excited for the party. If you're excited, you're not exactly being low-key about it, right? You'd probably say, I'm excited for the party, low-key, if you wanted to keep it chill.
Yes, that's the key right there. It's about tone. Low-key helps make something sound a bit more relaxed, like you're not going overboard. So, another common mistake is overusing it. You don't want to drop low-key in every sentence. It kind of loses its meaning if you do that.
100% agree. Now, let's move on to spill the tea. This one's fun because it's all about gossip. But people can use it a little too casually sometimes, especially when it's not about gossip at all. You wouldn't say, I spilled the tea on my homework, right?
Oh man, yes. That's not the right vibe at all. Spill the tea is reserved for those juicy, scandalous moments. Like, did you hear about Steve and what happened last night? Spill the tea. It's not for regular stuff like homework or work stuff. Keep it for the drama.
Right, exactly. And when it's not used in the right context, it just sounds weird. Like, I've heard people say, I'm going to spill the tea about this new movie. And I'm like, no, that's just talk about the movie. You're not gossiping.
Yes, spill the tea is only for the serious stuff, the drama, the gossip, the stuff you're dying to know, but not about the average things, like your lunch plans. Keep it for the real juicy moments.
Exactly. All right, another one people mess up sometimes is, I'm all set. Now, it sounds simple, but a lot of folks use it in situations where it doesn't quite fit. Like if someone asks, do you want some coffee? And you say, I'm all set. That's fine. But what if they ask, do you need help with your bags? And you respond, I'm all set. That sounds like you're ready for anything, even though you might still need help.
Ah, I see what you mean. It's more about being prepared. Like, I'm all set means you're good to go, you don't need any more help, or you're ready for what's next. So, it shouldn't be used if you still need assistance. If you need help with something, don't say, I'm all set. That's like setting yourself up for a weird moment.
Exactly. It's all about the right context. I'm all set when you're ready to move on, but not when you're still waiting for help.
Right, and don't overuse it either. If you keep saying, I'm all set, to everything, it kind of loses its meaning. You don't want to sound like a broken record.
Yeah, it's about balance, right? Use it when it makes sense and keep it chill. Okay, I think we've covered some solid examples of common mistakes. Now, let's talk about how all this fits into American culture. I know that slang and casual phrases really make a difference in conversations here.
Oh, for sure. You can tell a lot about someone's fluency just by how they use slang. It's like you can learn the vocabulary, but it's the little phrases and expressions that really show you're part of the culture.
Totally. And let's face it, Americans love to keep it casual. Slang is everywhere, from the workplace to hanging out with friends. It's part of the fabric of communication here. If you're not using it, you're kind of missing out on the true vibe of a conversation.
Exactly. And the best part is, these expressions make conversations feel more real. It's not just about saying the right words, it's about sounding natural, like you're just part of the flow.
Yes, and that's why we wanted to focus on them today because they really help you sound more like a native speaker. It's about connecting with people and understanding the way things are said in casual, everyday talk.
All right, now that we've talked about the basics, let's dive a little deeper into how these expressions really fit into American culture. There's so much to learn, especially when it comes to how we communicate with each other casually.
For sure, Ben. I think one of the most important things to know is how these phrases are used in different settings. Like, you wouldn't use some of these slang words at a formal meeting, right? It's all about knowing the context.
Exactly. A lot of people get caught up thinking they can throw these expressions around everywhere, but you've got to be careful about when and where you use them. Imagine trying to talk to your boss and saying, spill the tea. Yeah, that's going to come off a little strange, right?
Yeah, definitely not the best move. But that's the thing. These phrases are part of the casual, everyday conversation. You're gonna hear them most in informal settings, like when you're hanging out with friends, chatting with family, or even just talking to your neighbor.
Right, and here's the thing. Slang in America is constantly evolving. What's cool today might not be as popular tomorrow. Like back in the day, people used to say groovy, and now that's totally outdated. We've got new words popping up all the time.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed that. It's like if you're not up to date with the latest slang, you might sound a little out of touch, but that's okay. It's just the nature of language. It's always changing.
For sure, and that's one of the cool things about American culture. It's so diverse, and the slang reflects that. You can hear different regional expressions depending on where you are in the country. If you're on the West Coast, you might hear hella a lot, while on the East Coast, mad might be more common to mean a lot. It's fascinating how different parts of the country have their own unique slang.
Oh, I love that. It's like being in a whole different world just by changing cities. For example, in New York, you'll hear people say yo as a greeting all the time. But if you set that in Texas, you might get some funny looks. So it's really important to know where you are too.
Absolutely. And like these slang phrases create a sense of belonging. If you're using them, you kind of feel like you're in on the joke or part of the conversation. It's a way to bond with people. It's like an inside joke, but it's part of everyday life.
Yeah, I get that. It's almost like slang has this power to connect people and make them feel like they're part of something bigger. You know, like how everyone has their own set of expressions that make them feel unique, but also part of a shared experience.
Totally. And that's why it's important for anyone learning English to understand not just the vocabulary, but also the culture behind it. If you don't understand how and when to use certain words, you're going to miss the mark.
Exactly. It's not just about memorizing vocabulary lists. It's about understanding how language works in context. So when you're practicing listening, pay attention to how people use these words, when they say them, and who they say them to. That's how you really get it.
And that's also how you can sound more natural. If you're just reading a script or listening to the textbook version of English, you might miss out on the nuances, the casual flow, the jokes, the references to things that are happening in pop culture. It's all part of the package.
Totally. Like if you're watching a TV show or a movie in English, you can pick up on those little details. And if you're just listening to the dialogue, you'll get a good idea of how these expressions are used in the real world. It's like you're getting a behind the scenes look at how people communicate.
Yeah, it's like a sneak peek into the way people really talk, you know? And that's why we love talking about this stuff. It makes the language come alive. It's not just words on a page. It's a living, breathing part of culture.
Exactly. So when you're practicing your listening skills, think of it as a journey into the heart of American culture. You're not just learning the language, you're understanding how people really think, feel, and express themselves.
I love that. And don't get discouraged if you don't get everything right away. It's a process. The more you listen, the more you'll pick up, and soon you'll be speaking like a native.
That's right. And the best part, it's fun. You get to learn new phrases, connect with people, and be part of something bigger. So keep practicing, and soon enough, you'll feel right at home with all the slang and casual expressions.
All right, now that we've covered so much ground with slang and common mistakes, let's wrap things up with a quick recap and some final thoughts. Hopefully you guys have picked up on some of these key expressions and are feeling a little more confident with your listening skills.
Absolutely, Ben. I hope everyone feels like they're ready to take on these phrases in real conversations. Remember, the goal is to practice, practice, practice. The more you hear these expressions in context, the easier it'll be to understand and use them naturally.
And that's the key. You don't need to know every expression right away, but the ones we covered today are definitely some of the most commonly used in casual conversations. If you keep practicing with these, you're going to be able to connect with native speakers more easily.
Exactly. So to recap, we went over some of the most popular slang phrases like for real, low key, spill the tea, and I'm all set. We also talked about how to use them correctly and avoid some common mistakes.
And we didn't forget about the cultural side of things either. Slang is such a big part of American culture, and using it right can really make you sound like you're part of the conversation. It's all about understanding the context and the vibe of the conversation.
Right. It's not just about throwing in random slang, it's about using it where it fits and sounding natural. And remember, you don't have to use every slang phrase all the time. Just start with a few, and as you get more comfortable, you can add more to your vocabulary.
For sure. And as we mentioned, culture plays a huge role in this. Slang is always changing, and depending on where you are in the country, the slang can differ. So always be open to learning new expressions and picking up on the regional differences.
That's such a good point, Ben. So, for today's closing thought, I want to remind you guys, keep listening, keep practicing, and pay attention to how these phrases are used in the wild. TV shows, movies, podcasts, all of these are perfect ways to hear real, everyday English.
Exactly. And hey, if you hear someone using a phrase you don't know, don't be afraid to ask what it means. Most people will be more than happy to explain, and you'll learn something new every time.
Totally. So, as always, make sure to keep listening to native speakers, watch movies, and practice with your friends. And if you ever feel stuck, just remember, we've got your back here on the podcast.
All right, that's a wrap for today's episode. We hope you enjoyed it and learned some new ways to practice your listening skills. Don't forget to subscribe, leave us a comment, and share this episode with anyone who might find it helpful.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Keep practicing, keep improving, and we'll catch you next time. This is Emma, and you've been listening to Let's Talk About English podcast. Catch you later.
See you guys. Take care and keep listening. You got this.